Aaron stepped carefully onto the polished floor of the alien palace. The walls shimmered with a soft, pale light that seemed to hum quietly. Every surface was smooth and curved, giving the hall a sense of flowing motion, as if the building itself were alive. His boots echoed lightly as he walked, and for a moment, he felt very small. He had traveled across the stars to reach this place, but now he realized that nothing in human experience could prepare him for the grandeur of the alien Queen's Hall. The Queen herself sat upon a throne made of crystal-like material. It rose from the floor in a spiral that seemed to reach for the ceiling. The throne was large, but she did not appear overwhelming in size. Her presence, however, was impossible to ignore. She radiated calm authority, and her eyes, which glowed faintly in soft silver, seemed to look directly into Aaron's mind. She did not rise as he approached. "Human," her voice echoed in the hall, smooth yet powerful. "You stand before me because of my daughter. You have seen her, and you have chosen to remain distant. I ask you, why do you avoid her?" Aaron's heart beat faster. He had been prepared to face many challenges on this mission, but a direct question from the Queen of this alien empire made him uneasy. He bowed slightly. "Your Majesty," he began, "I have great respect for your daughter. She is extraordinary." He hesitated, trying to find the words that would not offend her. "She is too beautiful. I do not feel worthy of her attention. I fear that my words or actions could disappoint her." The Queen's eyes narrowed, and for a moment, Aaron feared he had made a grave mistake. But then she smiled faintly, a gesture that seemed almost human in its warmth. "Too beautiful," she repeated, almost as if testing the words. "So you fear her beauty will overpower you. You believe that her life and your life are not equal." Aaron nodded. He could not hide the truth. "Yes, Your Majesty. I have seen her grace, her intelligence, and her kindness. I have traveled many light years, yet I feel small before her. I fear I could never meet her expectations." The Queen leaned forward slightly, resting her hands on the arms of the throne. Her fingers were long and elegant, with a shimmer like polished metal. "Do you know, human," she said, "that beauty is only part of what makes my daughter who she is. Many have sought her favor for her appearance alone. They fail to understand her mind, her courage, and her loyalty to her people." Aaron swallowed. He wanted to speak, but the words felt too small for what he wanted to convey. He had always believed that honesty was the greatest strength a person could offer. "Your Majesty," he said carefully, "I do not admire her only for her beauty. I respect her spirit. I see her courage in everything she does. That is why I hesitate. I am afraid that I cannot give her what she deserves." The Queen regarded him silently for a long moment. Then she rose slowly, the crystals of her throne shifting and catching the light. She moved toward him with a fluid grace that seemed almost impossible. Her presence filled the space around him, yet it did not feel threatening. Instead, it felt like a weight of expectation. "You are honest," she said. "Most humans would lie to please me. You tell the truth, even when it is difficult. That is unusual." She paused, studying his face. "Your honesty is your strength. Perhaps that is why you were chosen to stand before me. You will meet my daughter, not as a guest, but as someone I wish to understand her heart." Aaron nodded, unsure if he fully understood what she meant. "I am grateful, Your Majesty," he said. "I will do my best to honor her and your people." The Queen turned, and her eyes swept the hall. "Lyra," she called. Her voice carried across the space, and it echoed in a soft, musical tone. A figure appeared from a side passage, moving with quiet elegance. The princess was unlike anything Aaron had imagined. She was tall, her posture perfect, yet her movements were gentle. Her eyes, a deep shade of violet, studied him with curiosity rather than command. Her hair flowed in smooth waves down her back, and her skin had a soft glow, as if lit from within. "You have come," Lyra said, her voice calm and even. She smiled slightly, a gesture that was both welcoming and confident. "I have heard much about you. Tell me, human, why do you seem so hesitant?" Aaron bowed once more. "Princess Lyra, your mother has already spoken the truth. You are too beautiful. But not only that, you are wise and kind, and I feel that I could never measure up to you. I do not wish to cause disappointment or trouble." Lyra studied him carefully, then let out a small, amused laugh. It was a sound like gentle bells, clear and light. "Too beautiful," she repeated softly. "I hear that often. Many are afraid of what they do not understand. But you, human, you see more than that. That is unusual." The queen stepped closer to Lyra and placed a hand on her daughter's shoulder. "You see, Lyra," she said, "he speaks the truth. His hesitation is not weakness. It is respect. Few humans understand the value of respect and honor in our culture." Aaron felt a sense of relief. He had expected hostility, or at least suspicion, but instead, he found understanding. "Your Majesty," he said, "I wish only to learn and to show respect. I do not wish to offend you or your daughter." The queen nodded, satisfied. "Then we shall see how your journey unfolds. You will stay in the palace for now. Learn our ways, meet our people, and understand what it means to walk among us. If your heart and mind are true, you may find that beauty alone is not the measure of worth." Aaron bowed deeply once again. He knew the path ahead would be difficult, yet for the first time in his life, he felt that he had a purpose. The hall no longer seemed overwhelming. Instead, it felt like the beginning of a journey that could change not only his life but the future of two worlds. As Lyra walked away to attend to her duties, she glanced back at him. "Do not fear me, human," she said softly. "I will not measure you by appearances. I will see who you truly are." Aaron watched her leave, his heart pounding with a mixture of awe and hope. He had crossed the stars to reach this empire, and now he understood that the greatest challenge would not be surviving alien politics or strange technology. The real test would be earning the trust and friendship of a princess whose beauty and spirit could light entire worlds. He stood in the hall a moment longer, taking in the soft hum of the palace and the flowing curves of the walls. He had come seeking answers, but he realized he had already found one. Honesty, courage, and respect were the keys to understanding this new world. If he could hold true to these values, he might not only survive but leave a mark that would be remembered for generations. Aaron walked through the palace corridors, guided by a soft light that seemed to float without source. The walls curved gently, and their smooth surfaces reflected the faint glow like liquid silver. He had already noticed that the architecture itself seemed to breathe, moving subtly in ways that humans could not fully understand. Each step he took felt like stepping deeper into a world unlike any he had ever known. He had been invited to stay in the palace, not as a prisoner but as a guest of the queen. The humans in the crew often joked about alien customs, but Aaron felt no humor in these halls. Everything seemed alive, as if the building itself observed him, judging his presence. He wondered what challenges awaited him beyond etiquette and manners. Then, as he entered a garden chamber filled with glowing plants and streams of softly flowing water, he saw her. Princess Lyra. She moved among the plants with careful attention, her hands brushing lightly over leaves and flowers that shimmered faintly in her touch. It was clear that even the smallest details in her world mattered to her. "Hello, Aaron," she said, turning toward him. Her voice was gentle, and yet it carried a quiet authority. "I hope you are finding your time here not entirely unpleasant." Aaron bowed slightly. "Princess, it is unlike anything I have ever seen. Your palace, your people, it is remarkable. I am grateful for your kindness in allowing me to stay here." Lyra smiled faintly. "You are polite, human. I find that refreshing. Many who come to our world act as though they are already rulers simply because they walk among us." She paused, studying him. "Tell me, what do you see when you look at this place?" Aaron thought carefully. He had seen grandeur in many human cities and engineering wonders in the stars, yet none had given him the same feeling as this palace. "I see care," he said slowly. "Every detail, every curve, every light, it is not just for beauty. It is made with thought. It feels alive because someone wanted it to be alive, not because it was necessary." Lyra's eyes brightened, and she nodded slightly. "You understand better than many of my own people. Beauty without purpose is empty. Here, everything has meaning, even if it is hidden at first glance." They walked together along a path that led to a small balcony overlooking a shimmering lake. The water reflected the alien sky, which was tinted in soft shades of violet and silver. 2 moons floated in the distance, moving slowly across the horizon. The scene was breathtaking, yet Aaron could not focus on it. He could not stop thinking about the words he had spoken to the queen and the ones he had just spoken to Lyra. "You speak honestly," Lyra said after a moment. "Most fear honesty because it exposes them. They speak lies to protect themselves. You do not hide, even when it is difficult." "Why?" Aaron looked at her, unsure how to explain. "Perhaps it is because I have learned that hiding does not make life easier. It only creates walls between people. I do not wish to hide from you or your people. I want to understand, even if it makes me uncomfortable." Lyra considered this. "You have courage, Aaron. Not the kind that wields weapons or commands armies. The courage to face truth. That is rare." For the first time, Aaron felt a connection with the princess that went beyond appearance or rank. He saw her not as a royal figure whose beauty might intimidate him, but as someone who shared values that mattered deeply. "I am grateful for your kindness," he said. "It makes learning easier. You make it possible for someone like me to belong here, even if only in a small way." Lyra smiled again, a genuine warmth in her expression. "I do not wish you to belong because of obligation or expectation. I wish you to belong because you choose to learn and to care. That choice is what matters most." They spent hours walking through the palace gardens, exchanging stories about their worlds. Aaron told her about Earth, its oceans, forests, and the ways humans built and destroyed. Lyra shared stories of her people, the stars they had traveled, and the ancient knowledge passed down through generations. Though their worlds were so different, they found common ground in curiosity and respect for life. "You see," Lyra said as they paused by a fountain of softly glowing water, "it is not appearance alone that shapes destiny. It is understanding, patience, and courage. These are the traits that matter in our world and yours." Aaron nodded, realizing that the fear he had carried about being unworthy was slowly fading. He had believed that her beauty alone made him small, but he now understood that true worth was measured in how one acted, not how one appeared. Their time together was interrupted by the queen, who appeared quietly behind them. "You speak well together," she said. "It pleases me to see that you understand one another. However, there are challenges ahead that will test this understanding. Curiosity and kindness are valuable, but there are forces in the empire that will not welcome outsiders, no matter their intentions." Aaron looked at the queen, concern filling his mind. "What kind of challenges, Your Majesty?" The queen's expression darkened slightly. "There are those who fear change. They believe that humans should remain observers and not be allowed into our circles of influence. If you wish to remain here and continue to learn, you must be prepared for resistance. Not all will see your honesty and courage as virtues. Some will see them as threats." Aaron's heart pounded, but he did not falter. "I am ready, Your Majesty. I will face whatever comes with respect and care for your people." The queen's eyes softened. "Very well. I will watch you, human. Not to judge, but to see if your actions match your words. The path before you is uncertain, but those who act with honesty and courage often find their place, even in worlds far from their own." As the queen departed, Lyra turned to him. "Do not be afraid, Aaron. The challenges will come, but you will not face them alone. Trust yourself, and trust that your intentions are seen and valued. That is all any of us can ask." Aaron felt a sense of hope that he had not known before arriving in the palace. He had expected a world of rules and expectations, yet he found warmth, understanding, and a chance to prove himself. The princess's kindness gave him strength, and the queen's watchful presence reminded him that his choices mattered not just for himself, but for the future of many. As night fell over the alien palace, the two looked out over the glowing gardens and reflective lakes. The moons moved slowly across the sky, casting light on the paths they had walked and the paths yet to come. Aaron realized that this was only the beginning of a journey that would test his courage, his heart, and his understanding of what it meant to belong to a world not his own. The days passed quickly for Aaron in the alien palace. He walked through halls of glowing crystal, studied alien texts with scholars, and shared meals with the royal household. Each experience revealed more about the civilization, and each day, he grew more confident in his place among them. Yet, beneath the beauty and calm of the palace, he began to sense something uneasy. One evening, while helping Lyra examine maps of nearby star systems, Aaron noticed a subtle tension in her expression. Her fingers hovered over the holographic images, tracing routes and coordinates with care. "Something troubles you, princess," he said quietly. "You do not speak, but your eyes tell me that all is not as it seems." Lyra sighed softly. "You are perceptive, Aaron. There are whispers in the empire, words spoken in shadows that speak of change, of fear, and of rebellion. Some do not trust outsiders. They see humans as intruders, even though we have never harmed them. They believe my mother's openness is weakness, and they plot to exploit it." Aaron frowned. "A rebellion? Here, in the heart of the empire?" She nodded. "Not all are open to peace or alliances. Many see strength only in isolation, only in keeping power among themselves. Those who oppose us wish to strike soon, before anyone can prepare. They will act in silence, using those who are willing to betray for their own gain." Aaron considered her words carefully. He had faced danger before, but this was different. This was not a natural disaster or a starship malfunction. This was people intelligent, calculating, and willing to risk war to maintain control. "What can I do to help?" he asked. I am only one human, but I will do whatever I can to protect your people. Lyra looked at him with a mix of relief and caution. Your courage is evident, Aaron, but this is not something we can face alone. Even my mother, the Queen, has limited reach. We must find those who are loyal, those who value the greater good over personal power. The challenge is not just to survive, but to unite those who will stand with us. Aaron nodded, understanding that his journey in this empire was no longer just about learning and respecting culture. It was about survival and loyalty, about courage and judgment. He had to learn quickly if he wanted to help. The next day, he accompanied Lyra to a council meeting with key leaders of the empire. The room was circular, filled with representatives from various star systems under the Queen's rule. Each had unique features. Some had translucent skin that glowed with internal light, others had multiple eyes or limbs, yet all carried themselves with authority and pride. As Lyra spoke about the need for unity and vigilance, a few council members exchanged glances that were sharp and cold. Aaron could sense the silent opposition even before words were spoken. One counselor, a tall figure named Veril, spoke last. The Queen's interest in humans is dangerous, he said. Outsiders have their own agendas. How can we trust a species that comes from another star, that knows nothing of our traditions and our laws? Aaron felt a surge of tension. He could see Lyra's hands clench briefly at her sides, but she remained composed. Trust is not given lightly, she replied. But it is earned through actions. Humans who come to our world are tested, as are all who enter our halls. Aaron has shown respect, courage, and honesty. Should we dismiss these qualities because they are not native to our species? Veril's eyes narrowed, and he leaned forward. Respect and honesty are words easily spoken. Will you risk the empire on unproven loyalty? Will you risk the safety of our people for curiosity? Lyra did not answer immediately. She turned slightly, letting Aaron speak if he wished. Aaron felt a moment of hesitation. He had always relied on action over words, but now words might be the most important tool he had. He stood and spoke firmly, his voice steady despite the alien eyes upon him. I cannot speak for all humans, he said, but I can speak for myself. I did not come here for power or to take advantage of your people. I came to understand, to learn, and to respect. I have no desire to harm or deceive. I will face danger alongside you if it comes. My loyalty is not a promise of words, but of deeds. I will stand by Princess Lyra and her people because I choose to do so, not because I am forced. A hush fell over the council chamber. The representatives exchanged whispers, and some nodded in cautious approval. Veril's eyes, however, remained skeptical. We will see if your deeds match your words, he said finally. Trust must be earned, not assumed. The council meeting ended with no clear resolution. Aaron realized that, despite his honesty, he was under observation. Some would accept him, and some would wait to see if he faltered. The challenge was only beginning. Later, as they walked through the palace gardens, Lyra spoke softly. You have spoken well, Aaron. Many would have remained silent, letting fear guide them. But your words have made a difference. Even Veril cannot ignore them completely. He will watch you, and that is not necessarily a threat. It is an opportunity to show your true self. Aaron looked at her, grateful for her guidance. It is not easy to know who to trust, he admitted. I feel that even small mistakes could change everything. Lyra smiled, her expression calm. Mistakes will happen. That is part of life, human. What matters is what we do after them. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the choice to act despite it. You have courage. Do not forget that. As night fell, Aaron stood alone on the palace balcony, gazing at the alien stars above. 2 moons hung in the sky, casting soft light on the reflective waters below. The beauty of the world was undeniable, but he understood now that beauty could mask danger. He had entered a world full of power, politics, and ancient traditions, and he was far from understanding it all. He thought of Lyra, of her kindness and intelligence. She was not only the daughter of a queen, she was a symbol of what this empire could be if its people united. Aaron realized that his role was not merely to observe, but to act, to learn quickly, and to contribute in a way that honored both his humanity and the values of those who had welcomed him. A sudden ripple in the water below caught his attention. For a moment, he imagined the calm of the lake hiding hidden currents, just as the empire hid its tensions beneath its beauty. Aaron understood that danger could arrive at any moment, and he must be ready. Yet, even with the weight of uncertainty, he felt a determination growing inside him. He would not falter because of fear. He would learn, act, and protect, not just for himself or for Lyra, but for the possibility of unity between 2 very different worlds. The empire had its challenges, but perhaps a human could make a difference. And in that thought, Aaron found a quiet strength. He would face the hidden rift in the empire, not with arrogance, but with honesty, courage, and respect. He would show that a human could stand among them and earn a place not as a stranger, but as an ally. The journey ahead was uncertain, and danger lingered in the shadows, but Aaron felt ready to step forward. With Lyra by his side and the wisdom of the queen guiding him, he would navigate the hidden rifts, confront the rebellion, and discover what it truly meant to belong in a world not his own. The morning sky above the palace was calm and pale, the twin moons casting a soft glow over the gardens and reflective pools. Birds with translucent wings floated above the trees, and the gentle hum of energy from the palace walls created a peaceful rhythm. For a moment, Aaron allowed himself to breathe, feeling that the tension of recent days had eased. But the peace was not meant to last. A sudden alarm rang through the palace, sharp and commanding. Lights pulsed along the walls, turning red, and the soft hum of energy shifted into a tense vibration. Aaron's heart jumped into his throat as he realized that this was no drill. He had heard of rebellions in whispers, but now the danger had come directly to the palace gates. "Aaron," Lyra said urgently, her violet eyes wide yet focused, "stay close to me. We must reach the queen's chamber immediately." Aaron followed her, running through the corridors that twisted like living tunnels. Guards of the palace, each armed with energy blades and shields, moved quickly to defend entrances and key points. The sound of distant explosions echoed from the outer walls, and he could see flashes of light from the garden windows as rebel ships attacked. The queen was already standing in her chamber, her posture calm despite the chaos. Her silver eyes scanned the room and then rested on Aaron and Lyra. "We knew this day would come," she said, her voice steady. "The rebels have chosen to act before we could prepare fully. There is no time to hesitate. We must defend our people and the palace. Aaron, if you wish to stand with us, now is the moment to show your courage." Aaron nodded. He had prepared for many unknowns during his journey, but facing battle in an alien palace was unlike anything he had imagined. His mind raced, trying to remember the drills the guards had shown him, the paths through the halls, and the locations of the energy barriers. He knew that fear could paralyze him, but he refused to let it. "Follow me," Lyra said, leading him through a side corridor. "We must reach the central defense room. From there, we can coordinate the palace shields and protect the civilians." They ran past hallways filled with startled servants and scholars. Many of the palace staff were human-like in shape, though with different colors of skin or eyes, and they moved with a mixture of fear and determination. Aaron could see that the palace was alive, not just in structure but in spirit. Everyone had a role, and everyone knew that failure could mean disaster. Rebel drones flew through the open windows, small but fast. Energy pulses streaked through the air, narrowly missing pillars and walls. Aaron ducked instinctively, feeling the heat of a blast pass close to his shoulder. "These are advanced weapons," he said, his voice tense but steady. "They will not stop easily." Lyra glanced at him, her expression calm. "Then we must be faster, smarter, and braver. Do not let fear guide your actions, Aaron. Focus on what must be done, not what might happen." They reached the central defense room, a circular chamber filled with consoles and holographic displays. Guards and palace engineers worked quickly to raise energy shields and direct defense drones. Lyra moved with precise efficiency, issuing commands that the team executed immediately. Aaron stepped forward, trying to help where he could, pressing buttons and activating controls that he had only studied briefly. Suddenly, the main view screen lit up with images of the palace grounds under attack. Rebel ships swooped down from the sky, small craft moving in groups, firing coordinated energy blasts at the walls. "They are testing our defenses," a guard said, his voice tense. "They will try to find weak points." Aaron's hands moved quickly, guided by instinct and the training he had observed. He calculated angles, redirected shield energy, and activated counter-drones. Each action was small alone, but together they began to repel the attackers. He realized that courage was not the absence of fear, but the choice to act despite it. "Good," Lyra said, her eyes bright with approval. "You are thinking clearly, Aaron. Keep focused." For hours, the battle raged. Explosions shook the palace walls, and the hum of energy shields created a tense vibration. Aaron and Lyra worked side by side, coordinating defense, rescuing injured staff, and directing energy to sections of the palace under heaviest attack. The rebels were relentless, but so were the palace defenders. At one point, a massive energy pulse struck near the outer gates, sending debris flying into the air. Aaron and Lyra were thrown off balance, landing hard on the polished floor. The room shook with the force, and a momentary silence fell as everyone processed the blast. Then the alarms rang again, louder than before. The Queen's voice echoed through the chamber. "Do not falter. The palace and our people must survive. Stand firm. Protect those who cannot protect themselves." Aaron looked at Lyra. Her eyes were steady, her posture unyielding despite the chaos. He realized that fear could exist without paralyzing action. Courage, focus, and determination were the true measures of strength. With renewed effort, he returned to the controls. Energy shields flared, defensive drones fired with precision, and the palace began to hold its ground. The rebel ships attempted to find weak points, but every effort was met with resistance. Aaron felt a sense of unity with the palace defenders. Each action, each decision, created a ripple that strengthened their position. Hours passed, though it felt like minutes. Finally, the rebels began to retreat, their ships fleeing into the sky as the palace shields held firm. The alarm subsided, and the palace hummed with energy, damaged but intact. Lyra turned to Aaron, her violet eyes softening. "You did well," she said. "Many would have panicked, but you remained calm and acted with precision. That is not a small thing in the face of battle." Aaron wiped sweat from his brow and nodded. I only did what I could. I could not have done it without your guidance and the courage of everyone here. The queen entered the room, her presence commanding yet calm. You have proven your bravery, Aaron, she said. Your actions saved lives and helped protect the palace. You are no longer just an observer. You are a part of our defense, and your courage has earned respect. Aaron felt a surge of pride, but also a deep understanding of responsibility. This victory was temporary. The rebellion would return, and the challenges would grow greater. Yet he now knew that courage, action, and respect could shape outcomes, even in a world so far from his own. As the palace staff tended to the wounded and repaired damage, Aaron stood with Lyra on a balcony overlooking the gardens. The sky was calm once more, but the smell of energy and smoke lingered. This is only the beginning, Lyra said quietly. The rebellion will not give up so easily, but neither will we. Together, we will face whatever comes. Aaron looked at her, understanding the weight of the words. He had come seeking knowledge and understanding, but he had found something more. He had discovered courage within himself, loyalty to those who trusted him, and the strength to face challenges far greater than anything on earth. He nodded to Lyra. I will stand with you, princess. Whatever comes next, I will not turn away. I will act with honesty and courage, and I will protect this world as I can. She smiled faintly. That is all I could ask, Aaron. The future may be uncertain, but we face it together. The night settled over the palace once more. The twin moons cast gentle light over the restored gardens and repaired walls. Though the danger had passed for now, Aaron understood that the Empire's trials were only beginning. He felt ready, not because he was fearless, but because he had chosen to face the unknown with courage, respect, and determination. The palace had returned to a tense calm after the rebel attack. Repairs were underway, and the defenders moved with quiet efficiency to restore the walls, gates, and energy systems. Aaron felt the weight of the day in his muscles and mind, yet he knew the real test was only beginning. The battle had shown bravery, but it had not ended the threat. The rebellion was still alive, and the loyalty of the Empire's council remained uncertain. The queen summoned Aaron and Lyra to her private chamber. The room was spacious and serene, filled with soft light that reflected off polished floors. A large window offered a view of the alien landscape beyond the palace walls, distant cities glimmering under the twin moons. Aaron, the queen said, her voice calm yet firm, your actions during the attack proved your courage. You acted with honesty, clarity, and quick thinking. You saved lives and helped preserve the palace. But courage alone is not enough. The Empire faces challenges that require trust, loyalty, and wisdom. You must now undergo a trial to show that your heart and mind are aligned with the values of this world. Aaron felt a mixture of anticipation and apprehension. Your Majesty, I am ready to face whatever trial you deem necessary, he said. I will do my best to prove myself. The Queen nodded. This trial is not a battle of strength, nor a test of knowledge alone. It is a challenge of judgment, courage, and understanding. You must navigate situations where choices are not easy, and where failure carries consequence. You will not face it alone. Lyra will be at your side. Together, you will demonstrate the ability to act with integrity and foresight. Aaron exchanged a glance with Lyra. She gave a small, encouraging smile, her violet eyes steady. We will face it together, she said. Trust in yourself, Aaron, and in what you have learned. The Queen gestured to a small platform at the center of the room. As Aaron and Lyra stepped forward, the floor shifted beneath them, and a holographic projection appeared. The projection showed a section of the empire under threat. Rebel forces were advancing toward a village, threatening civilians and critical energy stations. Aaron recognized the complexity of the situation immediately. "You must make decisions for the safety of your people," the Queen explained. "Every choice has consequence. You will see the results of your actions unfold in real time. Choose wisely, and act decisively. Hesitation or poor judgment could cost lives." The holographic display expanded, showing multiple paths. Rebel squads were moving in different directions. Civilians were trapped, and the energy stations were vulnerable. Aaron and Lyra studied the projection, analyzing options. "We cannot save everyone at once," Aaron said, his mind racing. "We need to prioritize critical areas. The energy stations supply the cities, so if they fall, the entire region will be in chaos. We must protect them first." Lyra nodded. "Agreed. But we also cannot ignore civilians. Some may be able to escape if we act quickly. We must balance protection with evacuation." They began issuing commands within the projection, deploying holographic defense units to block rebel advances, creating safe zones for civilians, and directing energy shields to protect vital infrastructure. Each decision caused the projection to respond dynamically, showing how the rebels adapted and how their own forces reacted. Aaron felt his pulse quicken. The trial was demanding, but he realized that it was teaching him more than any lecture or book could. He had to think like a leader, to anticipate consequences, and to act with both courage and wisdom. Hours seemed to pass within minutes. The projection showed success in some areas and failure in others. Some civilians were safely evacuated, but others were caught by rebel advances. Some energy stations were defended, while others suffered damage. Aaron and Lyra adjusted their strategies constantly, learning from mistakes and making rapid decisions. The Queen's voice echoed through the chamber. "Observe how your choices affect outcomes. Understand that leadership is not about perfection, but about responsibility and adaptation. Even the wisest may face failure, but the measure of a leader is how they respond and what they learn." Aaron felt a sense of clarity. He understood that his fear of inadequacy, the fear that had made him hesitate with Lyra, was no longer relevant. Leadership required honesty, courage, and learning from every action. He began to act with calm confidence, trusting both his judgment and Lyra's insights. At one point, the projection showed a rebel leader targeting the palace itself. Aaron froze briefly, realizing the personal risk. Lyra placed her hand on his arm. "We can handle this together," she said. "Focus on what is necessary, not what is frightening." Taking her advice, Aaron coordinated a defense, redirecting units to intercept the threat while continuing to protect civilians and energy stations. The projection responded favorably, showing the rebel leader defeated and minimal damage to the palace. Finally, after what felt like an endless series of challenges, the holographic projection faded. The trial was complete. Aaron and Lyra stood together, their hands slightly brushing, both aware of the bond that had strengthened through the decisions they had made. The Queen stepped forward, her silver eyes calm but shining with approval. "You have shown courage, wisdom, and honesty," she said. "You have demonstrated the ability to act under pressure, to protect the vulnerable, and to adapt to unforeseen challenges. Most importantly, you have shown that your heart is aligned with the values of our people. You have earned trust, human." Aaron bowed, feeling a mixture of relief and pride. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I only acted with what I hoped was right. I am grateful for your guidance and for the opportunity to prove myself. Lyra turned to him, her expression warm. You have grown, Aaron. Not just in skill, but in understanding. You see now that courage is more than bravery, and trust is more than words. You have learned what it means to act with responsibility. Aaron nodded. I understand now. And I will continue to act with honesty and care, no matter the challenge. The queen gestured toward the palace windows, showing the night sky and the glowing cities below. The rebellion will not cease because of a single trial, she said. Challenges will continue, and greater trials may come. But now you have shown that humans can stand not only as allies, but as partners. You have proven that courage, honesty, and respect are qualities that transcend worlds. Aaron felt a quiet determination settle in his chest. The trial had tested him in ways he could not have imagined, yet he had learned that fear was not the enemy. The true test was choice, the choice to act with integrity, the choice to protect those who could not protect themselves, and the choice to face uncertainty with clarity and courage. Lyra smiled, her violet eyes reflecting the twin moons above. The path ahead will be difficult, Aaron, but we face it together. You are no longer merely a visitor in our world. You are part of what comes next. As they walked from the chamber, Aaron felt the weight of responsibility but also a sense of purpose he had never known. The empire was vast, full of danger and opportunity, but he had discovered his place within it. Courage, honesty, and respect were not just ideals, they were tools to shape the future. The empire had recovered from the first wave of the rebellion, yet the air was thick with tension. The palace hummed with activity as guards patrolled, engineers repaired defenses, and council members debated strategy. Aaron moved through the halls, observing the preparations, yet he could feel the weight of expectation pressing on him. He was no longer a visitor or observer. The queen had made it clear, his actions mattered, and the fate of the empire might depend on them. Lyra approached him quietly as he studied the tactical maps in the central chamber. Her violet eyes were calm, but they carried the same determination he had seen during the first attack. Aaron, she said softly, the queen will speak with you soon. There is a decision to be made, one that could change everything for both our worlds. Aaron looked up at her, understanding the gravity in her words. I am ready, Lyra. I will face whatever comes. Together, they walked through the grand corridors to the queen's chamber. The doors opened silently, revealing the queen standing before a large window that overlooked the capital city. Her silver eyes were fixed on the horizon, but she turned to them as they entered. You have both proven yourselves, the queen said, her voice calm yet commanding. You have faced danger, shown courage, and acted with integrity. But there is a matter that requires more than bravery or strategy. It requires a choice, a decision that will define your place in this empire and the future of your people. Aaron stepped forward. Your Majesty, whatever you ask, I will consider it carefully. The queen's gaze softened, and she gestured toward Lyra. My daughter is at the heart of this decision. The rebellion is not only a test of strength but a test of unity. I have watched both of you, human and princess, and I see a bond that is rare. But bonds alone do not secure the future. You must choose, Aaron, whether you are willing to stand not only with Lyra, but with this empire in its most challenging hour. Aaron felt his heart quicken. He had faced danger, led in trials, and acted under pressure, but this choice was different. It was not a test of skill or courage alone. It was a test of loyalty, commitment, and the willingness to accept responsibility beyond himself. I understand, Your Majesty, he said. I am willing to stand with Lyra and your people. I will act to protect them and this empire, even if it requires sacrifices I cannot yet foresee." The queen nodded slowly. "Words are necessary, but actions will speak louder. You must also understand what this choice entails. You will be bound to the empire in a way that goes beyond simple allegiance. You will be a guardian, a protector, and a partner in decisions that shape the future. There will be no turning back. Once you accept this responsibility, it becomes a lifelong commitment." Aaron drew in a steady breath. "I accept, Your Majesty. I will not falter. I will act with honesty, courage, and respect for your people. I will honor the trust you place in me." The queen's expression softened further, and she stepped closer. "Lyra has also made her choice. She will stand with you, not because it is easy, but because she trusts your heart. Together, you represent the union of our worlds, the potential for collaboration, and the strength to face any challenge." Lyra reached for Aaron's hand. Her touch was firm, yet gentle, a quiet reassurance in the midst of tension. "We face this together," she said. "Not as ruler and subject, but as partners. We will learn from each other and protect those who cannot protect themselves." Aaron squeezed her hand, understanding the weight of the moment. This was more than a promise. It was a declaration that he would no longer act only for himself. The decisions he made, the courage he showed, and the integrity he maintained would affect not just him, but two civilizations. The queen moved back, raising her hand slightly. "Then the choice is made. You will act as guardians, leaders, and partners. But know this, the rebellion is not defeated. They will strike again, and their strategy will be clever. Your unity and wisdom will be tested, and the fate of the empire may rest on the decisions you make in the coming days." Aaron felt a chill at her words. He had faced the chaos of battle and the challenges of the trial, but the queen's warning reminded him that this was only the beginning. Yet, he did not feel fear as he had before. He felt determination, strengthened by the trust of Lyra and the guidance of the queen. As they left the chamber, Lyra turned to him. "The choice we have made will be watched by every corner of the empire. Some will support us, some will oppose us, and some will wait to see if we falter. We must act with wisdom and courage, not for ourselves alone, but for all who depend on us." Aaron nodded. "I understand. And I am ready to face whatever comes. The choice is no longer a question of my courage, but of my commitment. I will not fail." The days that followed were filled with preparation. Aaron trained alongside the palace defenders, learning alien tactics, energy control, and strategy. He studied the culture and history of the empire, understanding the traditions and values that shaped their decisions. Lyra remained at his side, guiding him with patience, wisdom, and encouragement. Together, they met with council members, demonstrating unity and shared purpose. Some leaders were hesitant, questioning Aaron's role in the empire. Others were inspired by his courage and honesty. Slowly, the alliance of support grew, and the strength of trust began to take root. One evening, as the twin moons rose in the sky, Aaron and Lyra stood on a balcony overlooking the capital. The city below glowed with energy, alive with movement and light. The empire had survived the initial attack, but danger still lurked beyond the stars. "Aaron," Lyra said softly, "we have made our choice. But remember, choice alone is not enough. It is action, integrity, and courage that will define our path. The empire watches, and the rebellion waits. Our strength will be tested in ways we cannot yet see." Aaron felt a deep sense of purpose. "I understand," Lyra. I have learned that courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to act despite it. I will face the trials ahead with honesty and strength. Together, we will protect this world and its people. Lyra smiled, a quiet warmth in her expression. That is why we will succeed. Trust in yourself, trust in our bond, and trust in the values that guide us. We are no longer just individuals. We are a force for the future of this empire. As the night settled over the palace, the two stood together, gazing at the stars. Aaron felt the enormity of the choice they had made. It was not a decision made lightly, nor one without consequence. Yet, for the first time, he felt that he belonged. He was not merely a visitor in this alien world. He was a partner, a guardian, and a force that could shape the future. The Empire faced uncertain days ahead, and the rebellion would test their resolve. But with Lyra by his side, guidance from the Queen, and courage in his heart, Aaron knew that they could face whatever came. The choice had been made, and the future was theirs to protect. The Empire had been on edge for weeks. The rebellion, though weakened by the previous defenses, was regrouping and planning its next strike. Every city, every palace, every energy station remained on high alert. Aaron and Lyra moved among the people, coordinating defenses, training new recruits, and ensuring that morale remained strong. Their unity had become a symbol of hope, showing that courage and trust could cross the boundaries of worlds. One morning, a warning signal echoed through the palace. A fleet of rebel ships had been detected approaching from the outer system. The Queen summoned Aaron and Lyra immediately to the command chamber. The holographic displays showed dozens of vessels moving in formation, energy pulses ready to strike. "This is the moment," the Queen said, her voice steady but firm. "The rebels seek to divide us and test our strength. We cannot fail. You have led with courage and wisdom, and now your actions will determine the outcome of this battle. Aaron, Lyra, it is time to act." Aaron felt his heart race, but he steadied himself. He had faced fear, he had faced rebellion before, and he had learned the importance of trust and strategy. "We are ready," he said calmly. "Together, we will protect the Empire." Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder. "Focus on what you know, Aaron. Lead with clarity, act with courage, and remember the bond we share. That is our strength." They moved quickly to the strategic command room, joining the Queen and her advisors. Maps of the galaxy, positions of fleets, and tactical displays filled the room. The rebel fleet was advancing toward several key planets, intending to cut off supply lines and create chaos. Aaron studied the displays, noting patterns in the enemy formation. He began issuing commands, coordinating defensive ships and activating planetary shields. "Aaron's judgment is precise," Lyra said aloud to the council. "He sees the patterns in their attacks and predicts their moves. We must trust his insight." The Queen nodded, watching as Aaron guided the defenses. "Very well," she said. "Act with courage and wisdom. Protect the innocent, defend our people, and do not underestimate the enemy. But remember, this is not just a battle of firepower. Unity is our greatest strength." The fleet moved forward, but Aaron anticipated their strategy. He directed defensive drones to intercept, energy shields to protect vulnerable cities, and coordinated fleets to flank the rebels. Each command was precise, calculated, and executed with the cooperation of every unit in the Empire's defense network. The rebel fleet attacked with precision, but Aaron's planning kept them at bay. Explosions lit up the skies above key cities, yet civilians were safe, and energy stations remained intact. The battle raged across multiple systems, yet the combined efforts of humans and aliens began to turn the tide. At one point, a massive rebel ship targeted the central command station. Aaron directed the closest fleet to intercept while activating a diversion that drew the enemy away from the population centers. Lyra assisted by coordinating support drones, her decisions complementing Aaron's perfectly. The Queen watched from the palace window, observing the coordinated effort. "This is what I hoped for," she said. "They act not as separate forces, but as one. That unity will carry them through." Hours passed in tense action. The rebel fleet, though formidable, could not penetrate the defenses. Aaron's combination of strategy, observation, and quick decisions kept them off balance. Lyra's leadership inspired the defenders to fight with precision and determination. Finally, the rebel command ship was disabled, and the remaining fleet retreated. The skies cleared, and the Empire breathed a collective sigh of relief. Cities remained intact, civilians were safe, and the strength of unity had prevailed. The Queen addressed the Council and the people via holographic projection. "Today, the Empire has survived because of courage, unity, and trust. Aaron, a human from another world, has stood beside us, showing bravery and wisdom beyond his years. Lyra, my daughter, has led with patience, insight, and strength. Together, they have proven that cooperation across worlds can secure peace and protect all life." Aaron felt a deep sense of accomplishment. He had faced challenges he could never have imagined, yet he had learned the true value of courage, trust, and action. He looked at Lyra, seeing her smile, reflecting pride, warmth, and relief. "We did it," Aaron said quietly, his voice filled with both exhaustion and triumph. "Yes," Lyra replied. "But this victory is not ours alone. It belongs to everyone who stood together, who acted with courage and integrity. Remember that, Aaron. That is the lesson of this empire and this moment." The Queen approached them, her expression calm and approving. "You have earned your place, Aaron. You are no longer an outsider. You are a protector, a partner, and a symbol of what can be achieved when worlds unite. Let this victory be a reminder that courage, honesty, and unity are more powerful than fear and division." Aaron bowed deeply. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I have learned more than I could have imagined, and I will continue to act with honor and courage in every choice I make." Lyra placed a hand on his arm, her touch reassuring. "And I will continue to stand beside you. Together, we have shown that even the smallest choices, made with honesty and courage, can change the course of history." As the celebrations began across the empire, Aaron and Lyra walked through the restored gardens of the palace. The twin moons glowed softly above, reflecting in the pools and illuminating the paths. People from all corners of the empire moved about with joy, their voices filled with gratitude, hope, and determination. Aaron felt a sense of belonging he had never known. He had entered this world as a visitor, uncertain of his place, yet he had grown into a protector and ally. The trials, the battles, and the choices had shaped him, but it was the bond with Lyra and the guidance of the Queen that had given him strength. "We have faced great challenges," Lyra said, her voice soft but steady, "and yet, we remain strong. The Empire is alive not because of power alone, but because of the courage, honesty, and unity of its people. That is what makes us strong." Aaron nodded. "I understand now. Courage is not just about facing danger. It is about standing with others, making choices with integrity, and acting even when the outcome is uncertain. That is what makes us strong." The two stood together, looking out over the empire they had helped protect. The rebellion had been defeated, but the lessons remained. They understood that peace required vigilance, that unity required trust, and that courage required action. The queen appeared beside them, her gaze calm and approving. "You have shown what it means to be true guardians of the empire. Let this victory mark the beginning of a new era, one where humans and aliens stand together, not just in battle, but in the pursuit of knowledge, understanding, and peace." Aaron felt a deep sense of fulfillment. He had traveled far from Earth, faced danger beyond imagination, and had learned the value of courage, trust, and integrity. He had discovered that humanity could shine even in a galaxy full of unknown worlds. Lyra smiled at him, her violet eyes reflecting the moon's. "The future is ours to shape, Aaron. We have shown what can be achieved when we act with honesty, courage, and unity. Let us continue to protect this empire, together." Aaron nodded, a quiet determination settling in his heart. "Together," he said. "We will face whatever comes, with courage, integrity, and respect for all life." The twin moons cast their soft light over the empire, illuminating a world that had survived the trials of rebellion and emerged stronger. And in that light, Aaron knew that humanity had found a place among the stars, not as conquerors, but as allies, protectors, and symbols of courage and unity.